Hai. Ntar suara kita apakah sudah?
Nye.
Cek. Hai, selamat malam.
Nah,
Kita mau nonton RRQ versus
Selera jalan dulu kan, habis jalan langsung main.
Epi
Draft,
Brand.
sudah.
Cek.
Nagot,
Selamat datang.
Okto,
Selamat datang. Malam ini kita akan menonton
Skylar.
RRQ versus Epi Brand. Jadi let's go. Semua tidur ya. Ini lemes dulu baru RRQ nanti jam 09.50. Berapa tuh? Jam 1.
Nyala bangku. Yang mau padi.
Lalu langsung aja ya.
Kan yang
Let's go.
Deden main dong.
Seperti biasa jangan lupa like, comment, subscribe, share.
Kan yang muncul itu yang main.
Share. Don't forget to like, comment, and share.
Kebakaran abangku. Okta Manu.
Lagi.
Apa brand sekarang? PUBG.
Aduh, ada ini.
Apa nih? View.
Masa ini kita nonton orang lagi nonton.
Oh ini mereka ininya apa namanya cuma gini doang ya? Gak ada apa sih namanya? Stage M5 kalah. Coba bilang kalah. Oh iya. Stage M5 kayak gimana guys? Oh itu penontonnya nggak penuh kan?
Apakah kita nonton di official atau termasuk listing illegal masih? Nonton orang lagi nonton. Makanya nanti kita baru ke official YouTube channel Game of the Future
Sepertinya saya salah guys, nggak langsung mulai.
2024. Jadi let's go.
Sepertinya saya salah. Sepertinya bakalan lama. Kalian bakal kali kasih nggak ya? Kalau dia nggak tahu sih. Kita lihat animasinya aja nih guys. Lama banget anjir. Sayang banget tadi gua ada AFK ya. Kalau gitu gua lanjutin.
Syup.
Diam aja. Gak ngapa-ngapain. Diam dan tak ngapa-ngapain.
Технологий.
Bagus banget intronya.
Lama banget anjir. Sayang banget tadi gua ada AFK ya. Kalau gitu gua lanjutin. Diam aja. Gak ngapa-ngapain. Diam dan tak ngapa-ngapain. Thank you Levi. Gua nggak mau Discord guys. Kalian pilih lah mau nonton siapa. Gua mau sendiri. Lebih nyaman. Mau ngapain aja bebas.
Lalunya lama banget.
3, 2, 1, mulai.
Let's go.
Гармония
Не.
– мощнейшая энергия созидания, способная объединять народы, вселенную
Oh ya ini dulu
и
kan
сохранять
biasanya sebelum ini.
баланс мироздания. С развитием технологий люди стали больше погружаться в виртуальные миры, забывая про мир физический, обрекая гармонию на угасание. Чтобы восстановить баланс, гармония переродилась в жар птицы мира. Мир отправилась сквозь вселенные в поисках героев, способных вернуть утраченную энергию. Избрав 5 сильнейших представителей, мир собрала их в клуб советов, наделив их уникальной силой. Они стали хранителями гармонии, чья задача – охранять и поддерживать баланс. Советом было принято решение провести турнир победителей,
Ревесие.
распространить гармонию по свету. Для этой цели он преобразовал частицу гармонии во флейм, древний артефакт для сбора энергии.
RRQ versus Pak Ape. Lah kok Pak Ape?
Для проведения турнира.
Ape brand.
Самым сильным соприкосновением
Yang gua denger nyanyi.
здесь миллионы зрителей и сильнейшие атлеты примут участие в величайших играх всех времен, чтобы определить достойнейших и восстановить
Jadi
баланс.
guys, judulnya Bismillah.
Игры
Menonton orang lagi nonton tuh. Future
Nyanyi.
Game
Parah banget.
of the Future 2024.
Bahasa kita juga ketawain gitu sama orang.
Ini kayaknya layar Inggris. Lagi masuk ke Bandung.
Mas Saint the Bear. Ura.
Raya di sini. Kita ke official. Ini kita bikin restream nih. Mana udah banyak yang restream. Lepasin sebelah.
Nah,
Welcome, RRQ host.
Vera jalan dulu kan, habis jalan langsung main. Draft maksudnya.
Banana.
Dragot,
Iya. Okta.
Octo,
Bushka.
Brusco,
Skylar.
Skylar.
Clyde. Clyde is here. Dan lihat. Yeah. It's RRQ host. Versus
Menyala bangku. Yang mau padi. Kan menyala.
RRQ
Dia
host.
kan main dong. Enggak, Octa yang main itu.
Jelas loh.
Kan yang
Gue
muncul
semua
itu
kalau
yang
pakai
main.
mic ini.
Kebakaran abangku. Octa Mani Manu. Apa brand sekarang?
Versus AP1.
Club Z.
What CC? Pando.
Apa nih? View.
Open.
Mereka ininya cuma
Supermarket.
gini doang ya. Gak ada. Apa sih namanya?
Siapa namanya? This is
Stage 5 kalah. Coba bilang kalah.
Sure.
Oh ya. Stage 5 kayak gimana guys? Oh itu penontonnya nggak penuh kan? Bulenya hore-hore doang. Hore-hore. Mode emo padi. PUBG cocok ketemu Deden. Kenapa tuh? Kali 2, oh ya.
Oke, let's go. Berarti kita ke
Siapin apa nih?
Alhamdulillah ya. Mendraft.
Brody.
Apalagi.
Nonton saja udah banyak kasih.
Лев,
GWP,
when the
GWP.
next delivery?
Zoom sebentar. Zoom.
Poki. Oh, berarti Ruby-nya tank dong. Pokinya EXP, Ruby tank. Bahaya juga ya
generally
Ruby.
against most marksmen just because of the range.
Jadi kita
They go quick shot.
Pilotnya sayang
They
sih.
force RRQ ONIC to really dig into the bag of tricks of Brusco now. And maybe this is something that I'll talk about later on. Look at AP Brent's last 2 bans. It's Haka Brusco. They're minimizing what Brusco can
parpol banget nih bajunya.
Kufra. And then the Kufra is not necessarily a bad hero, but it doesn't really give anything in the mid lane. It will not protect the Lilia. It will not force out the Faramis because they're gonna be safe. And then the Ruby is just able to scout out where Kufra is. That's the thing with the Ruby, right? So you can mirror where the Kufra is, and the Kufra can't do anything. Like cannot initiate because you'll always be in front of that Kufra. There's the Clint, as you've mentioned. Better range against the Layla just because of the passive. Definitely a lot more outplay potential compared to the Layla. And very strong when it comes to team fighting in the early stages of the game. A massive chance for them to take this. So this is actually a pretty good draft between 2 teams. I'm excited to see what the Layla can bring to the table.
And I'm just as thrilled as you are. We didn't get to see that last pick for what they're going to slot against the Layla in the gold lane. You know, when I tried to guess the last time, that's when the Layla came out. We don't know yet. As we're going to jump to the land of dawn, we'll definitely let you guys know. Nonetheless, we're up for a great match in today's first series of the day. Stepping into the virtual arena, we are in the semifinals.
Semifinals.
2024. We're going to be seeing Indonesia up against AP Brin, holding the banner from Indonesia and holding the banner for the Philippines. The last Filipino team standing so far as Blacklist was knocked down. Will we be able to see AP Brin push on forth the grand final? Or will we see RRQ Hoshi rise to the occasion?
Gonna be close. Is
Let's go.
how Brent defeats his former team.
Tune the voice
Is
first
it the Layla
to the
we
cube.
will see in this particular
Wow.
match? Eventually, becomes AP Brent
Cek.
to be able to find out.
Jadi gitu ya.
We're not looking
Happy
at the
watching, happy
matchup
watching.
in all of the lanes. First off, Clint versus Layla.
Semoga nonton ini nggak tiduran ya.
Favored, like if it's a
Berapa ya? Setengah 12 ya.
just because of the
Nanti
passive,
unik
and that's
jam
always been the
00.50.
case for Clint. He can win
Satu.
the laning stage just because of the passive, and I'm sure that
Jadi happy
Super
watching.
Marco is pretty much able to be adept with that hero. Now we're looking at the other end. It's Paquito going up against the CC. Now this is like
Anjay.
very tricky. It still is
going on,
matchup
going on.
based, but I gotta say it's probably is CC favored in a way that it's easier for the CC to do well against the Paquito. It's not a win per se, but it's a much easier for that one. But now Fuel,
Yeah, it's going to rush in, a little bit of damage in the mid lane. I love how you kind of broke down some of these matchups, right? I mean, looking at the Layla, we know it's a really late game damage dealer that can close the game.
One
out.
is
You know,
here.
trying to get those items. And also, I always like to call it a glass cannon, right? Very squishy in the beginning, easy to kill if you can dive. And that should be a focus for AP Bryn if they do want to shut down Skylar. Because, I mean, we all seen how this played out before, right? So can AP Bryn be the difference and not have the same thing happen to them? As you are seeing a big clash in the mid lane, not able to connect with the Abysm Strike, but some early aggression from RRQ Hoshi.
We haven't really talked much about this direct,
Choo,
but
choo,
I do
choo,
think this
choo.
third pick coming up from RRQ Hoshi after the back shot was already revealed. They're confident enough to go for the jungle Dyreth, which we know is a direct answer to the back shot, right? So it has enough burst to counteract the sustain that you can get from the back shot, and there's no hero from AP Bryn, even the Ruby, that can stay in front of that Dyreth.
Yeah, speaking of staying in front of things, everybody fighting it out in front of the turtle does get reset.
Oh, first game bundle ya.
Activated over there, trying to keep the team alive. Few being able to proc it. Ogren will find Irad, though, does take down the Durant we were just talking about, meaning RQ Hoshi will not have the retribution in the first
Bundle,
objective.
taruh mana sini?
You see AP Bread after the vengeance was popped from Banana, immediately they just, okay, they dropped it
Alright.
like it's a very hot plate. And then they went in back for the Faramis ultimate, which allowed them to eventually take out Irad. And after the dash from the Dyreth, that is the main weakness of the hero, by the way. No immediate dash afterwards. Oh my god, that's the problem. You don't... That's the problem with Kufra, right? It doesn't really actually protect teammates anymore. Especially if you start the fight with the jump.
You kind of called it the ace in the hole that they need to look out for. The Kufra could be a possible problem trying to protect Sky. I mean, some great setups from Ogre.
Choo, 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 choo.
Chain CC from that Ruby, and also sustainability to stay alive when that Layla's trying to burst him down. With Super Marco taking up that kill, we'll put him at a slight advantage. You know, he's trying to kind of scale a little bit better than the Layla. We mentioned if they can take down Skylar in the early phase, this is where you see the glass cannon of Layla kind of break down.
See the Ruby as well coming up from Oldman, not even needing the flicker in that moment. That's gonna be hurtful for RQ Hoshi, but that's also something that Brusco has to learn from now. He has to really delegate himself and his skills to save his teammates and not initiate for now, because they don't have that license to start the fights. Maybe if they have the conceal already, that's when they can probably make a play out of the Kufra, but for now, your duty as this Kufra from Brusco is just for protecting your teammates.
Yeah, and I mean, speaking of protecting teammates, I mean, we did see it go to a 30-minute game the last time RQ Hoshi had the Layla. So even though they were kind of getting a lot of objectives taken from them and having a hard time, they were able to still sustain themselves until Skylar had all of those items necessary, and then he was able to get the game winner to close out the game. So AP Bryn, even though they have the slight advantage, 2 kills up, we need to see them kind of close it out. That's where Deus Fuchs kind of struggled up against the Layla. Even though they dominated in the early phase, in the mid game, they just couldn't close the game out. And then that's when Skylar came alive. But right now, AP Bryn sitting really good in the early phase of things.
If you look back 20 or 30 seconds ago, you can see AP Brent's micro rotation wherein they went in for the crab play. They gave it to Super Marco, but now they touched the middle.
Yeah, big knockup for the stun. Hitting Kyle TZ and Few, forcing out the Nether Realm, keeping the team alive. Abysm Strike, not going to deal the damage Irad was looking for. And back to the purple buff he goes. Vengeance proc by Banana.
Yeah, nonton. Yeah.
To the mid lane.
And that's actually what Brusco needs to be doing. Imagine if he initiated first, he couldn't have the
RRQ.
However, Irad wanted to go for the play when there is still the Faramis ultimate. And unfortunately for RQ Hoshi, this is the power spike for AP Bread. When you have the backshot that the first arrow, it's gonna be great.
Speaking of things that are great, massive damage. Destruction Rush able to connect onto Ogwen from Skylar. You're already seeing how heavy of a hitter that Layla can be. Irad trying to close the distance. Abysm Strike on a Super Marco, but now hit the stun. And the damage slowing him down, trying to get a pick off. Down he goes. Few will take down Irad on the aggressive back lane play, and that'll be 3 kills on the board for AP Bryn.
Oh man, Irad just overheating up top. You'll understand why he went for that play. He knows that Super Marco is there, but Ogwen, even with just a quarter HP or even less, he went for the heads-up play to stun Irad so that Super Marco will be able to attack for a bit, maybe lifesteal a bit, get out into safety, and then Kyle TZ jumped into the fray. That one weird interaction is that Brusco didn't immediately jump with the Tyrant's Revenge. He waited for far too long, and that might have been the reason why Irad actually did not survive that. Because he's already in range, right, to stop his teammate, but that costed them a death on Irad. So sometimes those trade-offs, even if you maybe sacrifice your life as the Kufra, you're gonna be way better off if Irad survived that play. So that is something that really is gonna be the dilemma for RRQ Hoshi.
Speaking of dilemmas, we kind of talked about earlier in the draft things AP Brin could do to shut down RRQ Hoshi, and it was definitely putting some discomfort in the gold lane and the XP lane, taking down Skylar, taking Banana. They found a kill on Skylar, and they were also
Chicken
able
Banana.
to extend the gold lead for their marksman. He's now up 1,000 gold Super Marco over him. But speaking about the lanes, Few will find Skylar, and you are seeing the chase onto Brusco. Flapteezy gonna hit him with the heavy left punch. That is going to be 2 more kills for the side of 80 Brin, and now a 4,000 gold lead.
Whew. It's going to bite him. And even Octa has to run away for now. And they're going to be going for the turtle. I think this is AP Brin's. Oh, Irad! Okay, never mind. Okay, the mechanic. Working on it.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, while they got the turtle on the bot side, though, you did see Flapteezy take that tier 2 turret. So they have map control.
Hey, everyone,
For their side AP Brin, and also a great gold lead. Even though they didn't claim that turtle, I would still say overall that's a better trade for them, which is how far ahead they are for RRQ Hoshi. They need to start translating some of these objectives in their favor, right? Maybe opening up the map would be a great start, because I don't know if AP Brin's the type of team that's going to let them take it to a 30-minute game like Dave's full.
Yeah, AP Brin is known to go for the, like in the movies, go for the head. You should aim for that. That's definitely what AP Brin is trying to do almost all the time, especially the way that they're drafted. And then you really have to commend AP Brin from their previous rotations. Like every rotation, be it micro or macro rotation, benefits the team in general. Like for example, what I said earlier, when they went in for the play up top for Super Marco to give him the gold round. That's that looks like a small play, but if you compound all of those plays all together, you can see AP Brin really just dominating the map afterwards. Then after this before the turtle fight, they moved in a way that they were able to poke RQ Hoshi, they were able to poke Octa. Then that meant that they can push easily. Another play.
Yeah, big play on the way. Super Marco will find Banana. They opted in on the conceal play, just went straight forward as a full 5-man team to be able to take him down. Used a lot of utility though, but was able to extend that kill lead now 6-0. I mean, this gold is steady climbing. They're up by like 6,000 gold now, 3 turrets in, 2 above RQ Hoshi. RQ Hoshi has yet to find a kill so far in this entire game, as we are hitting that 10-minute mark. A little bit of a struggle in today's matchup. But like we said, RQ Hoshi, when they pick up the Layla, they're banking on the late game. We know we're going to lose a little bit in the early phase, in the mid phase even, but if we can hold off, they can turn this around. But AP Brin, like you said, going straight for the head, cutting the head off the serpent. What they're looking to do, trying to shut him down. You already see big setup though. Banana taking a half HP. Kyle TZ going in for the kill. Flapteezy joining him. We'll take him down. Another round to keep AP Brin alive. Flapteezy will find Irad with heavy left punch. 2 members falling for RQ Hoshi, and the Lord Pit has been controlled by AP Brin. But can we see RQ Hoshi turn this around? No. Looks like they are going to have to disengage. They don't have the numbers. They don't have the damage. And they're also too far behind in the economy.
It can now be proven that AP Brin is the tournament's tempo controller. Oh, Brusco with the play.
Rushes in on the Skylar. Flapteezy will get it. The dynamic duo in effect. Brusco very low, makes his way into the tier 2 turret, which may open up the opportunity for Ogwin to try and push in. But you are seeing Octa over there. Both teams fighting out.
Yeah.
Now going over to that purple buff for a slight invasion. Man, overall, such a great game for AP Brin. RQ Hoshi, what do they do to turn this around?
Well, they have to regain the tempo at the very least. Second, if they can't do that, the only other option here is to just survive this mid game. Just make sure that you don't lose your base. Maybe try to win when everyone is locked for 3 minutes. But that's very difficult to do.
Yeah, definitely going to be a challenge. Destruction rush going out from Skylar, trying to clear those minions. Not even enough damage managed to do that. Down goes the tier 2 turret in the mid lane, and now you're looking at RRQ Hoshi stripped down to their inhibitors.
It's gonna be difficult now for RQ Hoshi for sure. I gotta say there was this play that AP Red did again in the mid lane where Super Marco looked to be alone in the mid lane when he's pushing, but already FlapTC is pushing that is already positioned in that bush near the mid lane, so that left side of the turret. That's why even after the initiation coming out from Brusco with the Flicker Tyrant's Revenge, and we know that Octa is there for damage, AP Bren was prepared. This tells us that whatever AP Bren is doing, they're doing the buddy system, or the same, or at the very least they're making a macro play for it. In that specific case, like look at the bush that KowTZ is holding. When somebody shows himself in the mid lane, it's an ambush, right? So nobody from AP Bren is ever alone. They will not make the play that looks like they're isolated. This is championship caliber team that you're seeing. They have plans every time that they're trying to move.
And this is kind of looking similar to the game with Deus Volt up against RQ Hoshi when RQ Hoshi picked up the Layla Skylar. And the problem was Deus Volt was not able to close the game out, even with this massive boost in the economy and the objectives overall on the map. But AP Bren letting the world know, hey, we are the champions and we planned to let it stay that way, as they are going to go in with the concealed play. KowTZ initiating onto RQ Hoshi. A double stun. FlapTZ will find Irad, one member falling. And it looks like RQ Hoshi will be forced back into the base. AP Bren in total control.
Wow. 10-0. And the grip is not loosening at all. You can see RQ Hoshi being desperate for farm. They're trying to do everything that they can just to get the farm. And all things considered, Irad might have gone for the only play possible. Yeah, obviously he died, but then again, Apron knew exactly that will happen. And now Lord Fight, no retribution for RQ Hoshi.
Yeah, Brusco winding up, decides to hit a quick 180. Wasn't able to find the opportunity. Skylar trying to get the steal, unable to connect with the Destruction Rush. AP Bren will claim this Lord, and a body of Super Marco will take down Brusco. I would call that a 2-for-none trade. And right now, we haven't seen RQ Hoshi really take any objectives, no kills, and so far it's been more of a reactionary side of things for them. AP Bren just controlling the tempo.
He nailed the right turn for RQ Hoshi. Yeah, they're reactionary, heavily reactive. They're not making the heads-up play, right? They're not making a play. That's what I'm trying to say for RQ Hoshi. They're always just reacting to what AP Bren is doing, and that is how you know a team has controlled the tempo, right? So whatever is happening to RQ Hoshi right now, it's not entirely their fault. It's AP Bren just forcing them to be in that spot. AP Bren are so active, and they're taking control of the tempo so quickly.
Yeah, speaking about taking control, stepping into the base for RQ Hoshi for a possible early finish. AP Bren trying to seize the opportunity, but the Lord is getting bursted down. It has now fallen, and out of the base, AP Bren goes. Now, it is now 15 minutes in, getting to that 15-minute mark. Like we said, the later the game goes, the better it'll be for RQ Hoshi to be able to turn this around. When the nature picked up from Super Marco, definitely getting ready to kind of take that fight and negate the physical damage, as you are seeing them possibly go in and try and take some of these remaining inhibitor turrets.
AP Bren very disciplined in this push, even when they're leading by so much. And I try to dive with FlapTC with the halberd. That's gonna be deadly. I mean, that is your way of dealing with the Layla, even in the latter portions of the game, even in the late game. Surely the win of nature for Skylar will be key. I think that he will make that up later on. But imagine in a refreshed team fight, that halberd pickup coming out from FlapTC is gonna destroy Skylar.
Yeah, it's going to be very hard, right, for the side of RQ Hoshi to turn this around. I mean, Brusco, up to a rough start, not really able to find the opportunities for the sets he was looking for. And it's going to be a challenge, especially going up against Ogwin on this Ruby. I mean, even if he tries to hit a Tyrant's Revenge or Tyrant's Rage, for a group setup, I mean, Ogwin just has to provide a little bit of chain CC to kind of stop him in his tracks. And I feel like that's a little bit of the struggle we've been seeing so far for him to be able to get those setups that RQ Hoshi is baiting for.
Coming up of ways for RQ Hoshi to come back from this game. The number one option, obviously, is just to rely on the late game of Layla, which is honestly not a bad idea. If you think about it, I mean, that's their only way. There's really no other way for them to win this game apart from really depend on Skylar and his immense amount of damage in the late game. So how do they get to that point? My magic number is 23 minutes, where everybody's just, farmed out. Everybody's just locked item. And it wouldn't matter if you lose one inhibitor or maybe all of your inhibitors. It wouldn't matter as long as you keep your base. And your defense will be there. You have the Lilia anyways to breach you into that late game because you have Wave Fear. Then again, will AP Bren allow that? Because so far, AP Bren, they have now the luxury to go for banana.
Yeah, gonna go ahead and do the banana splits. Super Marco taking him down. Ice Cream Sundae. We'll be able to find one member, RQ Hoshi. Tried to get that contest on that last minute Lord still. Didn't really work out in his favor, and that's gonna put RQ Hoshi in a disposition in this team fight.
I really questionable play coming up from banana going for that. I mean, they have already conceded the Lord. They didn't have to really look into the third, knowing that there's a lot of catch from AP Bren. You have Kyle Easy. Then you have Open with the Flicker and Flap TC. Then you're a CC with only one legitimate dash. So, really questionable play coming up from Banana out there.
Yeah, and AP Bren holding the banner for the Philippines. Try and find their first game of the day up against Indonesia RRQ Hoshi. But some great defense. They were able to burst down that Lord to hold off AP Bren from closing out this game a second time. Mentioned that 23 mark being the time that we are going to be looking to for RQ Hoshi to have the damage necessary with all the late game items for Skylar to turn this around. Trust in Layla, the $1 million baby in the scenes, could make the difference.
AP Bren are going to be disciplined once more. I want to keep this 12-0 love set as much as possible. And you'll understand why. RQ Hoshi gonna have to really commend their defense. Even when it was 4v5, they were able to keep Skylar safe. That's always gonna be the case. And like I said, the Lilia is the bridge for them to get into the late game. You can set up your bombs. But now, Kautisi wants to fight.
Octa very low, trying to get away. Use the black shoes. Ogwin on the chase, but a massive damage output. Another one going down. Super Marco will find Brusco. Few takes down Octa. 2 members down inside of RRQ Hoshi. Make that a third as Super Marco gets another. Is going to go ahead and shut down Irad, leaving Skylar and Banana. The side laners who've been dealing so much damage at Game of Futures 2024 by themselves. AP Bren, Kyle Teasy will shut down the $1 million baby. Skylar will fall. Banana trying to get away, but running the wrong direction. Looks like he won't be able to contest. They're just going to let him get out of there. He's not going to be able to recall back. Few still will get the kill and a full wipeout against RRQ Hoshi. AP Bren takes game number 1.
That is a clinic from AP Bren. This is how you win as a team. Absolutely perfect rotations in the early stages. Even their calculated takes on those grabs just to allow for Super Marco to have an extra launch pad going up against his matchup. And they played out the draft really well. This Clint, the last pick coming out from AP Bren was perfect because it solved that Layla problem when it comes to the laning stage, making it really difficult for Skylar to stay up top. And that also caught the attention of the Kufra. And we can see through the highlights how that happened again. Look at them go with the Faramis ultimate on View. Perfect activation, and Irad was already in behind enemy lines. You can see Brusco just charging up far too late, and that allowed View to catch up. View was able to take out Irad, and these indecisions coming out from RQ Hoshi just really bit them in the end.
Yeah, I mean, AP Bren just having such execution. You see Few taking down Skylar, Brusco having a hard time finding those sets the team was kind of relying on, and didn't really have the easiest composition to be able to pull it off, especially having to kind of protect Skylar on the Layla. Some great domination inside of all the neutral objective areas, taking the Lords, taking the Turtles, and also being able to invade and claim the majority of the turrets with little to no problem. Like you kind of mentioned in the beginning of things, RQ Hoshi was very reactionary, just letting AP Bren dominate, and it didn't really build up to a turnaround that they were looking for. And I think they were kind of banking on AP Bren playing a little bit similar to Deus Volts, not being able to close it out toward that before that 23-minute mark, looking for that power spike. But unfortunately, that plan did not work in their favor, and AP Bren letting the world know, hey, we're the world champions. We're the last team standing for the Philippines. Ain't no way we're letting the Layla take us out.
I can see the last play of the game for AP Bren a little bit from now. And they kind of spelled that RRQ ONIC overstayed outside their base just for what, 10 or 15 seconds? And already punishing them for that. Even after some of the defense for RRQ ONIC, even before the fight broke out, I already know that this is going to be a bad decision from RRQ ONIC. And what I'm trying to say here is, at this point, 18 minutes, there's no license for RRQ ONIC to get out of their base. They're basically quarantined inside their base, and they don't have the pass from the government to let them out. That's exactly what they should be thinking during that moment. And it only took one sniff from both Ogwin as well as Kaltizi to know that, okay, they're out of their base. This is our opening. And that's exactly what happened. AP Bren destroying and outplaying RRQ ONIC just because of the fact that they're more experienced as well as they have the better tempo control. They knew exactly how to deal with this composition. They punished duty. Our MVP is Super Marco. And I mean, we cannot really contest that. He played so well in this game. Very much on point with his laning as well as his positioning and the damage dealt as well from this Glimt.
And some great setups to get him to that MVP over there from Ogwin on the Ruby to make that possible. I mean, look at Ogwin right there. His stats are on the board, 11 assists. But I got to give credit to Few and Kyle Teasy as well, as they were right behind Ogwin, just showing you how much synergy AP Bren has compared to a lot of other teams. You mentioned RRQ ONIC, newer on the scene, still a really good team. They've been taking the world by surprise, and I know Indonesia's proud on how they've been performing so far. But AP Bren, they're the world champions, right? They definitely have been playing a little bit longer and have earned that title from M5. And they don't plan on going down without a fight. Now, that is only game number 1. This is a best of 3, so there is still a chance for RRQ ONIC to be able to turn this around. But I don't see them pulling out the Layla again. I don't really think it worked out. I feel like even if they went in with Brusco on a different roamer to be able to kind of protect her a little bit better, the early game objectives and even toward the mid phase from AP Bren is very hyper-focused, it's fast, and you can't have more of a passive play style against it. They need something that can either match the aggression from the side of AP Bren or beat them to the punch.
My God, look at that difference when it comes to the farm. Yeah, it's well, it really isn't like Skylar's fault that happened. It was mainly because of the movements that we saw from AP Bren. I think that I've already said it twice when we were casting, but I'm gonna say it again. The micro and macro rotations coming out from AP Bren were perfect. The way that they're setting up each other to be able to get the most out of the time that they're given. For example, when they tried to also go for the push into the bottom lane together with the turtle, even when Red was able to snatch the turtle, their movements were so good that there wasn't any counter from the team. Then, when they tried to go for the push in the middle with Super Marco looking like he was alone, and obviously that's never gonna happen. A gold laner in the mid lane at the early stages of the game, pushing that turret, it's impossible that he's alone, right? And then Brusco kind of felt like, okay, maybe we can do it. Octa is here anyways. But Octa was just, he didn't realize that the only hero that can defend Super Marco in that play, it's not the Ruby, it's actually the Paquito with the flicker, be able to take down that Lilia very quickly to the point where the Lilia will not be able to pop the black shoes. I cannot remember if the black shoes was actually popped afterwards, but the point is, there is a way to defend Super Marco in that spot. So it's more like, okay, do we actually think that Super Marco is alone here? Obviously, he's not alone. Like, that cannot happen against an M5 championship team. That will never happen. And that is definitely the reason why AP Bren won that game. Every single play that they did, they had a plan in mind.
Yeah, definitely having a plan every step of the way. You could just tell how synergized their compositions were, where they were focusing on these objectives. Every time they found a member by themselves from the side of RRQ ONIC, they didn't waste any time. Instant conceal play, all full-man team, full sending for the kill. every single time. It didn't matter how far ahead they were on the board. They know, hey, we have the numbers. These little small objectives is what'll make the difference toward that mid phase. And especially if they have a Layla, we can't let them get to the late game. So these little things matter. And honestly, just some great execution from them inside of that match. Now, looking at the side of RRQ Hoshi, right? I mean, this is a different game that we've seen from Skylar and Brusco. When Skylar has to play the Layla, he's required to kind of play really far back in that lane and kind of be very passive. Normally, we see him take the fight a little bit more inside of the gold lane, be more aggressive, and also have some survivability. We know Layla is one of the few marksmen that lacks mobility and survivability in that lane, requires the roamer to kind of babysit and protect her at all times. And Skylar was the first kill of the game. You know, and as a marksman, as a gold laner, that's definitely not something you want, especially before the first turtle spawning in, and on a late game marksman that's supposed to kind of carry you through the way. So I think maybe stepping into game number 2 for Skylar, maybe we see some of the pickups that we've seen him kind of dominate on so far in the Game of Futures 2024. We've seen him on the Claude, we've seen him on the Beatrix. All some viable options can definitely take him to the next level up against AP Brent.
You can see now why the Ruby is one of the top choices for the teams. Obviously, when other teams used it, it didn't look as if it's a top tier play. In fact, the win rate of Ruby is very, very low. But when they're played by someone like Owen and AP Brent as a team, where there's a set rotation, it looks wonderful. And I'm gonna say this because the choice for RRQ Hoshi was for the Kufra. Although we know for sure that Brusco knows how to play that hero, they were put in a spot where they had to choose a roamer for Brusco. That's number 1, not meta, and number 2, cannot accomplish anything close to what a Ruby can accomplish, right? So if you remember that first blood, I said that the Kufra should be delegated in the spot where you're a defensive hero now. Because what they did was to initiate with the Tyrant's Revenge, the first kill of the Kufra, charged up, actually hit Super Marco, but because it's the early game, Layla cannot take out Super Marco in a span of few seconds.